Terry Phillips is in studio, taking time from the busy campaign tour, and he's he wants to be your next running against Kevin McCarthy, which is I would say a bold move. How's the campaign treating you?
I've never been happier or felt better.
All right, then. Well, there you go. We'll see you later. Thanks, everybody.
Drive safe.
How does that – because the part of the politics that I hate, and everybody hates, it's not just me, is you get – there's this person, that person, whatnot. You can go by party. You can chop it up however you want to chop it up, and you make up your mind and all that. I wonder if people realize that for the candidates, it's a slog, and you've got a little less than a month to go. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into this, a lot.
49 days, but who's
and you're probably I'm going to say you're probably one of those guys that's going to campaign right to the very end.
My only wish is that I had started this about 20 years ago, because the only way to meet everybody in this district, which is like 10,000 square miles,
right,
is to start from birth and just start knocking.
Well, yeah, but if you started that though, a lot of the people that were babies would be grown-ups and registered voters by the time you got around to them. So I'm just saying, 20 years, if you started knocking on doors, it's a lot of doors.
It is.
But you've already knocked on a bunch of. What are people telling you?
I hear two things. One is, well, that's really great, especially when I tell them I'm running as an independent, because I found that most people think of themselves as independents, whether they're running as a Democrat registered Democrat, Republican, or something else. But the other thing that I keep hearing is, why is it that this is the first time I've heard that there's somebody else running? I think that even though you and I might have some interest in politics, I'll bet you the vast majority of people really don't want to hear about this.
Yeah.
They're fed up with it all. And that's partly because the system's so badly corrupted.
Well, Congress has what now, a 12% approval rating?
At best.
I was, because whenever I hear that, I think, who the hell are those 12% of people?
Yeah.
That think that our Congress is doing a bang-up job. But everybody, and everybody across the country, doesn't just goes for here, goes for every congressional district around the country. Everybody says Congress sucks and then reelects their congressman.
Yeah, yeah. This is maybe the first time in my lifetime that I'm hearing people express the same frustration with their own congressman, and it's largely because Kevin McCarthy has been leading this Congress, and the frustrations that people have with the House of Representatives are being put on him because he's the third most powerful guy in the House. So whatever decisions, whatever leadership he has provided goes along with the outcome. And if you don't like the outcome, then you're going to blame him.
Yeah, for better or for worse, whatever happens, that's your congressperson, and that's how these things come to. Yeah. And so you got up one day and said, I want to, boy, talk about your David and Goliath. You thought, I'm going to get out and just and run for this seat.
No, what I said was somebody ought to run for this seat.
Well, yeah, but that thing in your brain goes, well, how about you, dipstick? Why don't you do it?
No.
Really?
No, this was not on my list. Scott, I'm a journalist. I keep saying this. My job is to poke sticks at politics.
Right, yeah, this is what I do every day. It's awesome.
Right, I love that job. But nobody else would do it. Nobody else would run. And I think
so you literally got it just exasperated with nobody else doing it,
yes.
Said, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I didn't want none of the above to win. I wanted somebody else to run. And so when I didn't see any other choice, I said, well, okay, I'll do this. And it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's still a lot of work, but it's really interesting. I meet a lot of people. I get a lot of encouragement.
That's got to be the coolest part about it.
And I find that I genuinely do disagree with Kevin McCarthy on a lot of things. So it's not as if I have to make stuff up. He gives me a lot of good material. The frustrating thing is that most people aren't plugged into this yet. It has taken until now just to get most people to pay attention. A friend of mine said it's sort of like going to the store to buy batteries. Very few people go to a department store and say, I got to buy some batteries. You're in the department store. Oh, by the way, maybe I'll get some batteries while I'm here. That's how people vote for Congress. As long as I'm voting for president, oh yeah, there are other offices on the list. I guess I'll think about that too. It's not the first thing on people's mind. The sad thing is it should be, because the Congress has more power than the president.
Right. Yeah, that's the other part. But people say this all the time, the economy this and the economy that, and damn Obama. The president couldn't spend a nickel if you put a gun to his head. The Congress has the purse strings. They're the ones that control all this stuff. And you could have nitwit presidential ideas all you want, but if Congress doesn't play ball, you can't spend any money.
And yet, look at what these people have been doing. The first bill in this term of Congress, H.R. 1, was to undo the Clean Air Act.
Right.
Kevin McCarthy voted 70 times to undo the Clean Air Act. In this valley, you really think we need more air pollution? So I don't understand. I get his sort of symbolic votes against the health insurance reform bill.
Right.
But voting 30 times, or 35
Yeah,
times.
but if you come from how do you, and as a journalist, you already know the answer to this. If you're going to run in this particular district that's got a bunch of oil companies in it, come on now. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with any clean air or anything.
Yeah, but you know what? Their kids live here too. I mean, come on.
They don't. They live in Santa Barbara.
Not the people who work there. Yes, maybe the
executives.
I mean,
like
right.
at the management level and up. Yeah, they're not here.
Sure, but the vast majority of people who are employed by oil, by energy in general, they live where they work.
Oh yeah, sure.
And that's why I don't understand this disconnect that so many people have between issues and their lives. I had a program on the radio many years ago, not so many years ago, called Quality of Life, and we are suffering through poor quality of life. And I dump a lot of that in the laps of the people in Washington who've made these bad decisions for us. And it's not just pollution. It's the way they spend our money. This is our money they're spending.
Right. Yeah, by the fistfuls, as it were. And the other part of it that really starts to wear people down, and certainly it's broke my spirit a long time ago. If President Obama gets reelected, he's going to spend a ton of money that we don't have and drive up the debt and all that. And he's going to say, well, it was for the good of the people or whatever the deal is. And if Romney gets elected, he's going to spend just as much money but on different crap. And then at the end of it, all the Congress people are going to say, well, we shouldn't have spent so much money, but we did. Sorry, reelect us and we'll fix it. I've been hearing that again and again and again since the late 60s. Yeah. Enough is enough. We need people that we can actually trust to just take some tough stands and save us some money.
So here, if you have to make a decision based on something, here's what I suggest. Make a decision based on someone who isn't beholden to somebody else, somebody who doesn't rely on big donors or a party machine or some other institution to tell him what to do. Vote for somebody who will think for himself and whose only promise is to represent the best interests of the district. That's the simple way to choose how to vote.
The amazing thing is what you just described has become the equivalent of swimming upstream.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, look, the country worked great when it was first founded. Rich white guys who owned a lot of land got to pick whoever they wanted to represent them. Worked great. Next thing you know, women are voting. They don't get to have slaves anymore. Everything's all mucked up in that. So we had a period in this country where we had a representative republic that ticked along great. Well, then, big money interests said, we can't have that. People aren't voting the way we want them to. So then lobbying was born. And suddenly there's just billions of dollars floating around everywhere. And we don't even buy politicians anymore. We just rent them. It's cheaper.
I think about this as sort of a lottery mentality. People vote to protect their future interests. Someday I'm going to be rich, and I sure want to hold on to all my money.
Yeah, and what's cheaper? There are people now, there are lobbying groups and they'll spend, like tobacco companies and that'll spend millions and millions and millions of dollars lobbying because it's cheaper than losing the revenue and it goes for every industry, pharmaceutical on down the board, and it's just how it's run now. And you want to jump feet first in the middle of that.
I want to shake things up. First of all, I want people to stop accepting the status quo as the only option. Half the country says they're independent. 20% of us are actually registered that way without party affiliation.
Thanks, Tom Selleck.
And so I think at some point there will come this, what do we call it, a tipping point, where people will realize that we actually do have the power. It is in our hands.
Yeah, we need to take it. We have to seize it back because they're not just going to hand it over.
And with only 25% showing up at the polls last time, one vote is equivalent to 4. Yeah. We really can make a difference. So I really hope people will show up, no matter what their party affiliation, no matter how they feel about the issues, and participate in the process. Just try it. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, get in. What's the easiest in the long run thing you can. And I tell people this all the time. I don't want to tell anybody how to vote. Don't vote the way I tell you to. Get yourself educated. These democracies only work. You got to have an informed electorate. Yeah. So find out, and don't just listen to your nitwit brother-in-laws because he says this about that. Get yourself educated on the issues. There's no excuse not to. Find out who these people are. Find out what all the whatever bills, whatever's going around, and then vote as an educated person. And you can't screw that up.
Scott, I'm going out to Cal State Bakersfield tomorrow morning. A group of students have invited me there. They belong to the Political Science Club. Go figure. And they're going on a massive voter registration drive tomorrow on campus. We're going to try to get 100 new voters between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow.
You should give out hacky sacks.
Ooh,
is that still a thing? Stephen, do people still hacky sacks? Is that a thing? Okay, whenever I think of college student, that's what I think of. Well, Terry, I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thanks,
you seem like a decent bloke, and the more doors you knock on, the more people to meet. I think the more people are going to like you.
I appreciate it.
So best of luck to you, and come back before the election. We'll do this again.
Promise. Meanwhile, PhillipsForCongress.com. Come
Boom.
visit us.
Easy as that, right there. All right, we got to get a break on. We are so late. We'll be right back. It's KERN Radio. It's News Talk 1180.